Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is James King. I'm the CEO of Titan Hospitality Group, the lead plaintiff in the recent court action against Anne Arundel County Executive Pittman and the executive order that would close all restaurants in Anne Arundel County for indoor and outdoor dining. As a co-founder of the Maryland Restaurant Coalition, standing beside me this morning are fellow board members of the recently formed Maryland Restaurant Coalition, Jeff Trout from the IHOP Restaurant Group, Bob Garner from Glory Days Grill, and Gio Concepcion from the Green Turtle Franchising Corporation. Not able to join us this morning are fellow board members Anna Cheney from Harrington on the Bay, Anthony Clark from the Irish Restaurant Company. The Maryland Restaurant Coalition is a recently formed organization dedicated to educating the general public on issues and threats related to our industry and our employees, taking on legal and legislative challenges when necessary, and fighting to ensure that our industry has strong representation when needed to protect the rights of our owners, operators, employees, and patrons. Over the past 48 hours, we have amassed over 100 restaurant members, over 25 affiliated small businesses, and over 1,000 residents to support our mission. These numbers are growing rapidly by the hour, and we expect to triple them over the next week. Those interested in supporting our cause can visit us at www.marylandrestaurantcoalition.com. We welcome all individuals from all backgrounds and all political parties that have the common goal of seeing our restaurants remain open for business and allowing our employees the right to earn an income. On December 8th, County Executive Pittman issued Executive Order Number 39, which required all restaurants and bars to cease both indoor and outdoor dining effective Wednesday, January 16th at 5 p.m. I, along with several other restaurant owners in Anne Arundel County, filed an emergency temporary restraining order in an effort to block that executive order from taking place. In the early afternoon of December 16th, Judge William Mulford held an emergency hearing and granted our TRO. We are currently in the process of preparing for our next hearing, which is scheduled for Monday, December 28th. We feel confident that we will ultimately prevail, keeping our businesses open and our employees working, but we need the support of the general public to assist us. The last 10 months have been the most difficult stretch our industry has seen in decades. We have been open, closed, reopened, restricted to 50%, restricted to 25%, have distancing restrictions, capacity restrictions, staffing restrictions, CDC guidelines to follow, local, state, and federal guidelines to follow. We have laid off staff, rehired staff, and laid off more staff. We have literally tweaked our business model a dozen times and continue to do so on almost a weekly basis. The physical, emotional, and financial toll that this has taken on all of our employees, from owners to servers to dishwashers, has been unimaginable, unbearable, and in many circumstances, unnecessary. As a small business that have been squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and we have been asked to take the brunt of the restrictions and closures in the name of public health, with little or no data or science to back that up. Big box stores and major corporations such as Walmart, Home Depot, Amazon, and our beloved casinos have raked in cash, recording record profits and growth. There has been absolutely no data or science to prove that it is less safe to eat at a full-service restaurant with mandated 6-foot social distancing, staff wearing protective gloves and masks, hourly temperature checks, expensive filtration systems, the following of CDC guidelines, oversight by multiple county departments conducting frequent inspections in restaurants, than it is to walk down the aisle of a Walmart or a crowded grocery store as people handle the produce, squeeze the lemons, sniff the pineapples, knock on the cantaloupes, pick up and peruse packages of meat, and walk within inches of each other, bumping into one another constantly, handling products on the shelf to replace them for another stranger to handle, and again until finally the third or fourth patron that has touched them purchases them. It's ridiculous and it defies common sense. To yet again close down small businesses that have been fighting for their survival for close to a year, in the same breath, announce that casinos are permitted to remain open, quite frankly, is a slap in the face to everyone standing up here. These individuals and thousands of county residents will lose their jobs, homes, vehicles, and livelihoods as casinos and big box stores with less regulations, less sanitation, less hygiene standards, and less oversight continue to operate and bring in record profits. Our elected leaders pontificate and decry the 1% as they simultaneously push policies that crush the middle and lower classes and drive millions into the pockets of those very corporations and CEOs that they vehemently detest. We want to be extremely clear. This is not, nor has it ever been, a political fight for us. This is a fight for survival. We do not care about the political party of any elected official. We care about the actions that they take and how it affects our industry and our livelihood. We are facing an extinction event in the restaurant industry, and our leaders have a choice to make. They can stand with small business and support us, or they can continue to punish small businesses with unsubstantiated theories and concepts, pick winners and losers, and hope the general public will turn a blind eye. Throughout this pandemic, we have heard that we need to follow the science and the facts. We could not agree more. The science and the data and the facts clearly do not show that restaurants in any way, shape, or form are a significant factor in the spread of the coronavirus. I will discuss some more of the data and the science at the conclusion of this press conference, but first, we wanted you to hear from real restaurant owners, real employees, and real businesses that depend on restaurants remaining open to survive. With that, I would like to first introduce Jeff Trout from the IHOP Restaurant Group.
I just want to say thank you for being here. Good morning to everyone. You know, you saw in the press when the president and the vice presidents and all the people, they were learning the fist bump, the elbow. We were doing that years ago, decades ago. You didn't walk into one of our kitchens and shake hands with a cook or a server. It was the fist bump. We are safe. There's no real evidence, as James was just saying, to prove that we are a spread of coronavirus. We feel as though we as restaurants are being demonized. We are safe. I operate franchises in Maryland. I am regulated. I'm going to show you a little bit about just how regulated my franchises really are among other franchisees that go through the same thing. 3 times a year, unannounced, I get an operational evaluation from my franchisor. This is 31 pages. A third of this is based on food safety, food evaluation, and how my employees handle the operation of food safety and the safety among themselves. Next, we get another evaluation done. This is separate from this 3 times a year. This is 3 times called a food safety evaluation. This is only like 3 pages. It has 60 items that they come through and they inspect. These evaluations, this one takes approximately 3 hours, this one's approximately 2 hours. In addition to this one that my franchisor pays for, I pay for myself 3 additional. Why do I do that? To protect myself, protect my guests, protect my employees, and to stay in business. Because we have a brand to also protect. Since COVID, on top of these, here comes another one. How safe are we? This is the COVID inspection. It's 3 pages. Talks about, are you using FDA-approved products? Are you following CDC guidelines? We get checked on this. If I don't pass these inspections, I have the potential of losing my franchise, which I've worked hard to get there. I can show you my restaurants are grade A's, and this is not just one, this is one of several. We're on top of our game. They not only come through and check on me and my restaurants, they talk to my cooks. Do you understand what the CDC guideline is? Do you know what it takes, the three things you have to look for? They'll try to talk to them, they'll go and talk to a server. They'll pull a random server. Do you understand? How much coaching and training do you think we do just for the norm, much less the COVID? Our people probably know more about it than most. And we're safe. We're as safe as most hospitals. We're an environment you can feel comfortable eating in, dining in, and leaving very safe. None of my employees have been hospitalized at all. I want to thank you for being here today, and please help our cause. We need to stay in business. Thank you. Yes, I'm Jeffrey Trout. I'm an IHOP franchisee in Maryland.
Next, we have Bob Garner from Glory Days Grill.
I'm Bob Garner from Glory Days Grill. We own and operate 21 restaurants throughout the region, 7 in Maryland. That's comprised of 1,500 employees throughout the region. I personally have a lot invested in Anne Arundel County. This is where my family's from. This is where I'm from. I have 88 and 86-year-old parents that live in the county, right up the road from me. I have all of my children, all of my grandchildren live in the county. A lot of my neighbors and friends and their children. My son operates one of our restaurants, and my daughter-in-law operates one in the county. So I care about the safety and health of people in this county. One of the things that I want to mention that gets lost is the environments that you put yourself in, where you visit every day. And when you come to a restaurant, how's that different than other environments? Well, we take safety and health very, very seriously, and so do the engineers and architects of restaurants. And when you look at the standards that restaurants are designed for, they use a thing called the exchange rate, how often the air is replaced within an environment. And restaurants are designed to be very similar to that as a hospital operating room. We exchange our air every 4 to 5 minutes throughout the restaurant. If you choose to go to a retail environment, it's nowhere near that number. At your home, it's not nearly half that number. So when you walk into a restaurant, you're walking into a restaurant, an environment designed for health and safety. Another thing you might be concerned with is the employees that we have in our restaurants and how we keep them safe and how they're going to keep the guests safe when they come in. Well, we have, at Glory Days, we have we contracted with a health professionals organization called Zero Health. They're a corporate wellness company. What we do is we designed a proprietary app with them where our employees, before they come to work, have to fill out a questionnaire on an iPhone or a Google device, Android. They have to fill out questions to see if they have any of the symptoms that we've identified. They also have to take their temperature, and they have to post that. If they have any symptom, we have a health professional from that company call them immediately, and also an alert goes out to a vice president of our company and to that organization and a health professional. They then talk them through their symptoms, question them, and they decide on whether they get a 1, 3, 5, 10, or 14-day exclusion from the restaurant and to keep them and their employees safe. So if they get a 10 or a 14-day exclusion, we pay them for that time so that they're not encouraged to try and not answer truly. We also take their temperature when they arrive at the restaurant. They have to show us that they got a green check mark, that they've been approved to work, and then we take their temperature again and verify that they are symptom-free. We believe that with these things and the environment that you're walking into when you come in the restaurant, we can't imagine there's anything more safe than that. The results that we show is I have 1,500 employees. These gentlemen and ladies behind me, they have an additional 1,500 employees in their companies. We have to date not had one hospitalization from any of our employees throughout the region. So we don't feel that we are a place where if you're worried about hospital beds and saving hospital beds, we don't feel we're contributing to that increase. Thank you very much.
Gio Concepcion from the Green Turtle Franchising Corporation.
Thanks, James. Today I want to talk a little bit about the additional costs associated with complying with the regulations that happen around COVID. In my seat at the Green Turtle, we have 38 locations. 16 of those company operated, the Balance franchise. And the only reason that's important is because I see two sides of it. I see what happens on the operational side internally, and I see what happens to the franchisees, who in many cases have their entire livelihood and life savings tied up in the investment they've made to run a restaurant. The same restaurants that are fabric of our communities, the same restaurants we have some of our most fond memories, the same restaurants we socialize in. When we think about solutions in the business world, we always need to think about the cost of those solutions. In fact, that's sort of what we do every day. The solutions we provide in the form of a service or a product need to make sense in terms of the cost. It seems blatantly apparent from a government standpoint that sometimes that equation doesn't apply. And there's a problem with that. Because when that equation doesn't apply, but it applies to the rest of us, what that means is that we're taking the people who've invested their life savings, the employees who invested their careers in these restaurants, and we're telling them that we're taking that away. There's mental health implications, there's financial implications, there's implications to what a post-COVID world looks like. And we can't lose sight of that greater cost. I understand the need for safety, and obviously we care deeply about the safety and health of our guests and our employees. You've just heard Bob talk about the fact that in all of our restaurants, not a single person has been hospitalized as a result of COVID. So while there are positive cases, we're doing everything we possibly can to keep people safe. When we look at the two big buckets here, I think we need to open our eyes to the facts. The facts are restaurants are operating as best as they can and demonstrating by the results that we are creating a safe environment. That's one critical point. The second point is we are causing an immense amount of pressure and difficulty to the employees and the owners and entrepreneurs who created these restaurants and who have so much more at stake. And so when we think about those facts and we start to actually think about the cost and balancing that with the safety, I think it becomes really, really clear here. We cannot allow burdensome regulations to submit our restaurants to a death sentence with no trial. It's not right, and we will all regret that in the end. We're here today because this fight is important. James mentioned earlier, we're in the fight for our life and our survival. Everything's on the line, and we need all the support we can get. Please support the Maryland Restaurant Coalition and help us get to the other side so we can serve you when this pandemic is over. Thank you.
You'll now hear from members of the restaurant industry and our employees.
Hi, my name is Elba Garcia. I've been working in a restaurant for 22 years, and I don't know what the point to keep the restaurants closed when you keep the other stores open, the liquor stores, and it's a lot of employees that we really need to keep the restaurants open. That small business getting really frustrating, and what I say, been working for 22 years, and this year been really bad for me, and not only me, a lot of people. So the families, they really need to keep the restaurants open, please. It's not like during these times, really need you to listen and keep the restaurants open. For our communities, the employees, they really need it. Really hard time for us. I thank everybody, not only the employees, bartenders, all the staff. So I can beg you, please keep the restaurants open. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Christine Doyle. I've been a bartender for 21 years in the same establishment. I'm feeling really threatened that I might lose my career. That is my career. And not only that, like the threat of losing my entire profession at this point. And it's not only me. As I said, I've worked with the same people for over 20 years. And that includes all of our sales reps, delivery people. I've known these people all for 20 years, and I just can't stand the fact that they might also be affected like that as well. We just really need to keep it going for our staff, for our businesses, for our communities, for our small businesses. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julie Cooper, and I work as a server. The restaurant industry has been completely impacted by this restrictions and the COVID. Prior to this, we used to make a decent living and be able to pay all our bills, and it's been a struggle. These buildings we work in that you know as restaurants aren't just a building to us. It's a family, and we care about each other, and this has been really hard. I've worked hard to put my daughter through college because she had the dream of becoming a nurse. It's been really hard this past year. There's been sleepless nights, tears, the struggle of how I'm gonna keep doing that so she can pursue her dream and achieve her goals. And I'm just one person with that situation. We all have similar situations where we're struggling to pay our bills. I'm very thankful for the formation of this Maryland Restaurant Coalition. We need to stay together, united, and move forward and keep our doors open. Because in shutting the restaurant business doors, you're shutting down people's dreams, their livelihoods, and it's devastating. So please join with us, stay united, keep our restaurants open. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mandy. I am a single mom with 2 children. I've worked in the restaurant industry for the better part of the last 20 years, and the last year has been devastating for me. I have spent all of my savings being out of work for 6 months on unemployment, and I honestly don't think that I'll be able to survive another shutdown. I don't think that it would really help anything at all. I feel like shutting down our restaurants are going to give people the opportunities to go home and see their families and hang out with friends because they won't be able to go out to eat. And I think it's going to spread the virus that way. I think it's going to kind of have the opposite effect on things. I think we're going to see a spike again because people will be home and spending time in big groups instead of being in a more controlled environment like in our restaurants. So please join with us. Please don't forget about us. We've had a really hard year like a lot of you guys have, and I'm just kind of ready for that to end. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jessica Fudge. I've been in the restaurant industry about 15 years, was born and raised in it with family businesses. I've worked at every venue you can think of, from these large music venues that are now shut down and a lot of them not to reopen, to small mom and pop places. There's no feasible way for a person that's been bartending for this long to survive on unemployment, not unemployment alone. It's been devastating for our local restaurants and our small places that are already closed that won't reopen. It's been a struggle that I've never seen in this industry. For us to remain closed or to go back to carry out only, most places will not be able to sustain it. They'll have to shut down. for us and our staff, for this week alone, we wouldn't have been able to make Christmas if we hadn't have stayed open. And all I can say is please stand behind us. You have to stand behind us now because we won't have a place to go back to. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Chaz Coyle. I'm a general manager of a business in Montgomery County. We've already rolled back to off-premise only. It's been demoralizing to have to lay off your staff a second time. My staff is family to me. I take great pride in taking care of them and making sure they have a safe place to work. Not only that, I take great pride in coming home safe to my family. We need to be open. Our communities rely on us heavily, not only just for being open to provide them services that they need, food, but they rely on us for employment as well. I encourage that leaders and members of what government open our restaurants, keep our restaurants open, and I thank you for your time.
My name is Melissa Sal. I've been working for this service industry for 6 years now. I think it's unnecessary to shut us down again with the strict procedures that we follow. This is how we pay our bills. Thank you.
My name is Jessica Witt. I've been in the industry for about 10 years now. I've been at my restaurant for 6 years now. And we're not just, coworkers and friends, we're family. And we've taken every single step and procedure to make sure that our guests are safe, everything's clean, and it's just, like they said, a slap in the face. And it's been extremely difficult the past 10 months, and the months to come are also going to be very difficult for many people. So please, everyone come together. If we all stick together, get our message out, hopefully they hear us and they listen to us and see that we're doing all we can to make sure everyone's safe. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Madison. I've been working in the restaurant industry for about 5 years now, using all of the money that I've been making to get me through college and get me through nursing school. Shutting us down again puts me back another 2 years in college because I can't afford tuition. Along a lot of other students can't do the same thing, so shutting us down really is stopping a lot of us from growing and moving on from COVID. So please listen, please do the best that you can to keep us as open as possible. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jessica. I've worked in the restaurant industry on and off for about 20 years. More recently, I've been at my current position as a server and bartender for the past about 2 years now. I'm a single mom, so I rely on this to support my child, to pay my bills, put food on the table, gas in the car, extracurricular activities. But it's more than just me. It's more than just the servers and the bartenders and the business owners. Think about the people that you're impacting if you shut down a restaurant. I have regulars that are elderly that come in every Monday just for a burger. But it's more than the burger. It's the experience. They want to sit down. They want to talk to me. They want to tell me about their grandchildren. They want to tell me about Christmas presents that they bought. They're service members who get off of a plane that spent the past year and a half in Iraq, and they can't wait to sit down and have a burger that's cooked in an American bar. They can't wait to sit and have a beer and just talk to you and just spend some time talking to people that don't want to know about how many people got shot yesterday or what the next order is. It's more than us. If you shut us down, you're taking us away from all the people that matter, people that fight for our country, people that have supported us for years and years and years. It's more than me. So I hope you guys listen. I'm grateful for the coalition. I'm grateful for what they're doing and giving us a Christmas and helping us make some things happen. So we need your support.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. I'm a single mom. My daughter is 6 years old, and it's been a really struggle this year trying to explain to her the changes that's happening and how our restaurants will shut down again. And, she wants to become a ballerina, so it's been really tough to cut down through all the expenses and pay her classes. And, at some point I feel like I have to break her dream and tell her, hey, I won't be able to afford this or many other things. And I honestly do not want to do that. So I really think we should stay open. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you for coming today and telling everyone your stories. It's greatly appreciated. Next, you're going to hear from three small businesses that will be severely impacted with closures in Anne Arundel County. First, you will hear from Drew Frederick, Vice President at Capital Seaboard.
I'd like to first thank the coalition for putting this together today. Some of the stories that we've heard from just a small sampling of the restaurant industry are awfully difficult to hear, especially 2 days before Christmas. On our side of the table, as a supplier for so many in this area with fresh produce and fresh seafood, our business dropped by 75%. 75%, and our layoffs were over a third of our staff. It should have been a lot deeper than that, but, you know, we have hearts. When that first happened and all the closures that had occurred, we had difficult decisions to make. These are real people. These are real lives. I plead for people to make good decisions. There is no scientific data. There's a lot of different industries behind what we're seeing with the restaurants, the people that serve these establishments. We all need you to step up, and we need your support. Thank you.
Andy Atman from Acme Paper and Supply Company.
Thank you for having me today. At Acme Paper, we have 200 employees that come to work every day for us, supporting the restaurant industry. And we work in depth with them to help put the protocols in place to make it a safe place. So we know that everyone that we work with and everyone that is in this industry is doing a good job to make it safe for everyone to come out and have a good meal there. So we ask that you support the restaurants, you support the association. We don't close down because there's no safer place than a restaurant. It's safer than a hardware store. It's safer than your retail stores. They're doing the right thing. Support the association. Thank you.
And lastly, we have Sal Furno from Wagner Food Service.
Good morning. I've been with H&M Wagner for 40 years right here in Anne Arundel County. The Wagner family started serving eggs door to door in the 50s and 60s and grew into today what is a full food service broadliner. And to hear all these stories is just heartbreaking. It's just unbelievable. And I haven't heard one person ask for anything. Nobody is saying, we need free money, we need this, we need that. All they have asked for over and over again is to go to work. How refreshing is that? Just let us go to work. Over and over and over. That is what I've heard this morning. And I couldn't be prouder to be part of this industry. God bless you all and have a great holiday. I only wish the best for everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal. I think at this point, you've all heard what a devastating impact a closure will have on this county, its employees, its residents, their livelihoods, their children. This truly is an extinction event for many of us. Many restaurants have already closed and will not reopen. The ones that are open now are hanging on for dear life. With every day that goes by, it gets harder and harder to survive. In County Executive Pittman's Executive Order number 39, he states the following. Whereas the spread of COVID-19 within Anne Arundel County has increased dramatically over the past several weeks and has caused an unprecedented impact on hospital capacity, necessitating additional restrictive measures to save lives and prevent further exposure to COVID-19. County Executive Pittman released his executive order on Tuesday, December 8th. According to the Maryland Department of Health data, the positivity rate on December 8th was 7.61%. As of yesterday, the positivity rate was 7.47%, a decrease of 0.14%. Once again, this decrease took place as restaurants remained open. On December 8th, the day the county executive issued his executive order, according to his own Anne Arundel County Department of Health website, the 7-day moving average of cases per 100,000 was 43.1. On the day his executive order was scheduled to take effect, December 16th, that rate was 41.6. On the 17th, 41.3. On the 18th, 39.2. And on the 19th, 37.0. Today, it sits at 38.7. These are the county executive's own statistics, taken directly from his website. While restaurants remained open by a court order, mind you, his cases dropped 4.5%. As the county claims to follow the data and the science, they report on their own website data and science that clearly shows that restaurants are not the problem. At our court hearing, we will provide much more detailed data that will show that the county has absolutely no scientific, mathematical, or statistical data to show that restaurants contribute to the spread of the coronavirus. And in fact, we believe the opposite to be true. Both the state and the county health departments have claimed that the largest cause of virus spread, especially during the holidays, is social gatherings in private homes. If this is the case, could someone please explain how it makes sense to take people out of controlled environments with a multitude of protections and oversights in place and drive droves of people into private homes, dinner parties with absolutely no social distancing, face masks, gloves, sanitation, hygiene, CDC best practices, or oversight to control the spread of the virus, while at the same time destroying small businesses, putting thousands of people out of work, and ripping the local economy to shreds? It simply defies common sense. This morning, we will also release the results of a recent Gonzales research poll that clearly shows that Anne Arundel County residents strongly support keeping Maryland restaurants open. In the poll, 82% of Maryland residents, Anne Arundel County residents, agreed with Governor Hogan and his health experts that it is safe for Maryland restaurants to be open at 50% capacity following strict safety guidelines, while only 14% disagree. While it is the duty of our elected officials to keep our residents safe, it is also their duty to represent the will of the people. The people have overwhelmingly spoken, and it's time to listen. We would encourage all Maryland residents that want to see Maryland restaurants remain open to help us and join us at www.marylandrestaurantcoalition.com. I want to thank all of the speakers who came out today to support our cause and the media, and with that, we're happy to take any questions that you may have. We are also releasing the poll. The staff has it. They'll be handing it out to you. Just raise your hand if you'd like a copy of the poll. Well, it's a different judge, for one thing, in Montgomery County than we have here in Anne Arundel County. And secondly, we believe that we have experts lined up that will testify at our hearing on the 28th that will contradict that argument. We get shut down. It's that simple. These people lose their jobs. We shutter our businesses. We pray a stimulus package comes through, but as we heard today, now the president has claimed that he won't sign it. If I had $1 for every time I told the stimulus package was coming, I wouldn't need a stimulus package. We've been hanging on for 6 months waiting for this, and quite frankly, it's a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Our stimulus package ran out 6 months ago. And so the reality of the situation is the decisions that these elected officials make are life-changing. If we are to lose, if we do close, all the people that you heard from today and multiply that by thousands are going to lose their jobs, are going to have no income, and we will see an extinction event in the restaurant industry in this county and in this state. The statistics are clear. They're closing every day. Every day I read one of your newspapers, it's heart-wrenching to see 2 or 3 more restaurants close. I think the data speaks for itself. This is an extinction event for us. And so I guess to answer your question, it will be a sad day, and a lot of people will lose their jobs. Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. And I think if you look at the guidelines that we have to follow, you look at the inspectors that come in every day from health, fire, liquor board, you look at the management that's present on the floor, making sure that people are in face masks, wearing gloves. You don't see that at a grocery store. You don't see that at a Walmart. And so while we have much more safety and sanitation guidelines in place, these stores do not, yet they're allowed to stay open. The reality is, if you look at the numbers, the majority of the spread is coming from hospitals, nursing homes, prisons, university, social gatherings in people's homes. We are a minute part of that, but we're an easy target. You can't close a prison. You can't close a hospital. You can't close a nursing home, but you can close a restaurant down, and you can let the people look like you're doing something, and you're taking action with no data, no science, no facts. We're low-hanging fruit, and we think we're being picked on.
Throughout, excuse me, when we do this app and we do require the employees to get tested if they report a symptom, and we're going to exclude them for 14 to 15 days. And we also question them about their contacts to see if they've been around people that may have been exposed or had COVID. And throughout, for the past 10 months, we had 32 positive employees. And we obviously did not have them in our environment, and they went through whether it was a false positive, we couldn't tell, but we did exclude them for the 14 days before they were allowed to come back to work.
You have to, I'm a little hard of hearing, even with the aids on, so.
Filtration, that was Bob Garner.
That would be me, yeah. Yeah. Well, let me tell you what we're up to. I hope I said it right. We exchange our air between every 4 or 5 minutes, not 4 or 5 times, every 4 or 5 minutes it's exchanged. Now, it's exchanged through filters and also fresh air introduced at a certain percentage. One of the things we have been trying to do throughout this whole thing, how can we be even safer? How can we be safer? We even have studies done by scientists on that level to look at air. How can we make the air even safer? Through HEPA filters, through ionization, through other methods. And some of our people have actually implemented these things through barriers and partitions. And the air goes upward, it doesn't go sideways, so we pull it up. And if we have barriers, we're actually allowing that air to escape upward. So we propose things like that. There's other things we can do to make restaurants even safer without closing them. We can say, gee, we should be putting these filters in, we should be putting barriers up, and we could actually seat more people even more safely if we did some of these things. So we are looking at all those things, and some of us have actually implemented. I did it in one of my stores. I put barriers up. I'm prepared to do it in every restaurant if I have to, if that's what's going to make the environment safer. Well, they eat every expense that we have. Prices go up, and when mandates come on us, that's one of the biggest impacts on pricing. One of the things about the masks that was said earlier is the argument about masks are being worn, not being worn in a restaurant. Well, what's happening is instead of you going into a private home and having that meeting with those 6, 10, 20 people, we limit you to 6 people. And those 6 people, people know it should be people they live with and closely associate with. Well, they're the only ones maskless. We don't introduce another person into that group. The person that's introduced into that group is only the server. That server's wearing a mask. And that server is healthy. That server has been tested by us. We know that they don't have any symptoms. We know that they don't have a temperature. They're not spreading it to the guest, and the guest is not spreading it to the server. Yeah.
Just to make a comment to that, 82% of Maryland residents are employed by small business. So we're not California, we don't have Silicon Valley, we don't have Google and Oracle. We're a small business state. And I think you heard today, not only from our employees, but also from our small business affiliates that depend on us. We had conversations about just how many to bring today. We could do this tomorrow, and I can bring watermen, I can bring farmers, I can bring the list. I'll line this all the way down to 97 if you want, with small businesses that depend on us to be open. And it really is a rippling effect all throughout our economy, to agriculture, to aquaculture, the linens, the guy who sells us straws and napkins. And these are, And these are, and these are all Maryland and Arundel County small businesses. The majority of our purveyors are local. Our brand here is about buying local. I built this brand on local. And so every single person that we buy from lives within a 15-mile radius from us. So it's a devastating rippling effect through the economy. Any other questions that we can answer? Well, we appreciate all of you coming out today, and the board members will make ourselves available for the next 30 minutes for anyone who'd like a follow-up. Thank you very much. Have a great day.